Today on Coffee Roasting Legends, San Franciscan roasters Bill Kennedy speaks with Mike Arquines of Mostra Coffee.
Welcome to the Coffee Roasting Legends podcast. My name is Bill Kennedy, and I'm the owner of the San Franciscan Roaster Company, where we manufacture high-end artisanal specialty coffee roasters. Over the years, I've had the privilege of meeting and learning from countless inspiring individuals, roasters, business owners, and coffee enthusiasts. On this podcast, I'll be sharing insights, passion for coffee, exploring the craft, the culture, the story of the people who make coffee roasting truly legendary. Today, on Coffee Roasting Legends, we're talking with Mike Arquines. He is one of the co-owners of Mostra Coffee, a San Diego roastery that was named Roast Magazine's 2020 Micro Roaster of the Year. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank
Known
you so
for
much.
their award-winning coffees and mission-driven approach that uplifts farmers and local communities. Mike, welcome aboard, and thank you so much for being here. I know you have a great story to share. Let's just start at the beginning. Before the founding of Mostra, you and your co-founders came from different creative backgrounds. And what drew you into coffee roasting, and how did those experiences shape Mostra's culture and vision, right from the beginning?
Um, Thank you for having me. Great question. I love telling this story because with every story there's always an origin root story. And for me personally, when it came down to coffee, I'm a chef by trade. And I went to school. I worked in kitchens in and around in New York and Chicago, and then in San Diego. But prior to that, I was in nursing school, and what got us through nursing school was coffee. So, um, knowing that I didn't have a ton of money to blow on coffee, I would literally just try to experiment and make my own coffee. As I got through my culinary career, I started to get a little more bolder in my experiments. Um, uh, Roasting in a cast iron pan with an infrared thermometer, and a modified popcorn popper, and just trying to turn the beans from green to brown or even black or even charcoal, right? And kind of learning through that process. And I would actually put them on a blog when blogging was actually a thing. Um,
Yeah.
and That's essentially how I met my partners. And I met my partners through mutual. They would kind of see me uh, nerding out, I guess, on coffee, and I was always going to new coffee shops, and yeah. So my three other partners, Bev and Sam, they are married. Sam uh, came is a veteran, Army veteran, USC graduate, and also worked in the medical field, higher up in the medical field. And then Bev is a professionally trained opera singer. She went to the Boston Conservatory. Amazing singer. She doesn't do it as much as we want. Um, and then you have Jalen, which is Bev and Jalen are best friends forever. And she is a former actress in Hollywood, and she's also actually trying to get back into it as of late. So, and then I have the chef background. So we're almost like a four-headed monster, right? Like,
Okay.
not typical when you're creating a coffee company. But yeah, it worked. So it works.
It's interesting. We have a lot of interviews with folks that were just they're by themselves or their husband and wife or two partners. Do you do you have a hard time, or I mean, let me put it this way. What do you do so that the four of you working together can come to consensus and again stay with your vision?
I think it's understanding the reason why we started the company and having that common bond, and understanding that our mission and vision is utmost like the priority. And and trust, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think in business and business with family and friends, which is a total like red flag, right? You don't ever do that. I think it's extremely important to be able to trust each other, trust the process, right? And
Right.
understand. And I think that's kind of what has gotten us through up until now, about 12 and a half, 13 years in, and not without its battles and ups and downs and trials and tribulations, right? But at the end of the day, we understand like what the real goal is to be able to give back to the farmers in the Philippines, uplift the farmer, provide generational wealth for the farmers, families, right? And that's what we always have to remind us. And when we remind ourselves that, we kind of we always see eye to eye on that. So
Well, let's touch more on that because when vision always kind of it has a direct impact on culture, right? Not just company culture, but the culture that for your clientele, your customers. Um, and you live by the mantra, the reason or be the reason people use the goodness and humanity. Where did this come from, and how do you guys implement that? Let's say with your team or teams that work in your operations there, and well, I'll let you just take that.
yeah, no, be the reason why people see the goodness in humanity. It's actually it's a very powerful message, but it's extremely simple in explanation. It's really be nice to people, right? And by showing grace and gratitude, you don't know what someone's battling internally, and really, um, at the end of the day, just be nice to people, right? And that's that's really what it comes down to. And with that in turn, that should rub off on other people, right? And we always believe in, you get what you put out in the universe, whether that it's your attitude or whether it's the hard work you put in, and your charity, and so on and so forth. So um, very powerful but simple message, really. It's simple explanation. So
No, I love that. I know too, just because you and I go back a ways,
yes.
and we'll get into this your 2020 winning roaster of the Roast Magazine Roaster of the Year. But I remember seeing a video you guys produced of you going to the Philippines, which is your heritage. How is your Filipino roots, your sense of family, the connection to the Philippines, um, and Filipino coffees? You know, because you roast Philippine coffees, right? Yeah.
Correct.
And and so how does that all fit together in, let's say, part of your foundation?
uh, a great question, Bill. I think in order for us to answer this question, we really have to go back, right? Uh, Probably 2009, 2010, Bev and Jalen were on a almost like a Habitat for Humanity mission in the Philippines, and they did this yearly. And what they saw was, obviously in a very impoverished country. It's a third world country,
Right.
right? And that's kind of the unfortunate truth about it. And knowing them, they wanted to give back, and they were there to give back. But how can
Right.
they give back? That was a question. And they realized that, man, Philippines is a land of farmers, right? Whether you're a rice farmer, coconuts, so on and so forth, and coffee. Coffee is was I think Philippines, many years ago, was the third biggest producer of coffee in the world. And them realizing that coffee was such a big integral part in the Philippines, they wanted to be able to be impactful, um, and create livelihoods and jobs in that way. But how do we do that, right?
Mhm.
Well, um, it's being able to source high quality coffee, um, from the Philippines, and put it on a pedestal, put it on a platform that it really deserves, right? There is really good coffee out there, but not a lot of people know about it. In turn, uh, it's a cycle. When people are buying more coffee, you're helping the farmers, right? So they took that idea, that spark, they brought it home, and they asked Sam, Bev's husband, and was like, "Hey, we want to start a coffee company." And Sam is like, "You don't know anything about coffee. You don't know anything about business. What do you guys? Why do you guys want to do that?" And they had the pure audacity to say, "It doesn't really matter at that point. We're just going to do it. We're going to take the leap. But how do we do it?" I think, and then that's where the connection happened, right, with the
Right.
friendships and the blog. And they're like, "Hey, like it was essentially like they called me one night and was like, hey, um, actually no, Jalen asked to meet, and she was like, hey, we have this idea, and we were wondering, we see you doing things with coffee. We know you know flavor and so on, and we were wondering if it's something that you could help us with." And at first I had to kind of like talk to my better half about it, because it's going to take X amount of time and so on and so forth. But she it was no question, man. Like, I think being able to give back to our roots was just hands down like the best thing. So, um, um, yeah, and that's kind of how we started our journey. And that's how Mosher was formed. This was back in 2013, back at Bev and Sam's house, and that's actually where we got our first sample roaster from you too, as well. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And no, that's cool. It's good. That was like a few years ago, wasn't it?
oh my, Bill, it was 2013. The family, we were trying to figure out how we wanted to roast. We were looking into different roasters. Um, at first, I was like, "Who's gonna roast?" We would meet in Bev and in her music room where she would teach, and I would be like, "Hmm." And they're like, "Why don't you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, why don't I guess so? I could figure it out, right?" So,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of how it started. And having them be able to trust me with that part of it early on was definitely a blessing. I'm super grateful for that, because I have no experience in roasting. Honestly, thinking about it now, like I had no business actually doing it. But you know what? Like that mission and the reason um, for being around and being, you know, having Mostra, it was enough for me to like, was enough for us, to kind of work through that, and we did. And
So, this is a fun one. How did you come up with the name Mostra? Yeah, naming a business is always it's always an ordeal for folks that are stepping out. And tell us about that. How'd you come up with the name, and and why did you end up landing on Mostra, and what does that mean?
Mostra is Italian is to show, to perform. Um, we come from four different backgrounds, and we felt like we perform in our own way. Actress, opera singer, army veteran, as well as a chef. So, and yeah, I think that's kind of, it just made sense, and to us it just flowed really nice. Um, and it is Italian, and people consider Italy like the epicenter of coffee. So
Sure. No, that's always fun. You're right. It does roll off the tongue nicely, and it's unique, and I think it sticks in people's mind. There. So let's move forward then. You've established your roastery, and you're got a couple places open, and it comes to be about 2019, and you guys decide you want to apply and compete to become the Micro Roaster of the Year, the Roast Magazine Micro Roaster of the Year. Could you talk a little bit about what that process looks like, and some of the steps that you went through to you know submit everything as a competition there?
yeah, absolutely. When we first started Mostra, we looked at different awards and accolades that eventually we'd want to apply for. When we finally got the skill, when I stopped burning beans in the garage and almost burning Bev and Sam's house down, right? Um, I think we got the courage, and again, we took the leap and the audacity to say, "Hey, 5 years in, we're going to apply for Roaster of the Year. That was one of those awards that we were like, okay, that feels good. It feels like it could be a good platform, especially if we use Philippine coffee for the competition. But it's a huge undertaking, and there's a lot of great roasters out there. So um, regardless, we there was no question that after 5 years we wanted to apply for it. Not a lot of people know. We actually applied for it the year before. I don't know. Do you know that, Bill?
I did not know that,
Yeah,
but it's an interesting point, and what I love about that is, if at first you don't succeed, you try again.
yeah. It really
Eh,
is, and it really is.
Persistence. Yeah.
It really is, and again, like um, it was a lot of persistence and a lot of just like, man, like, are we? You always have to, as a new business or the new kid on the block, you sometimes second guess yourself, right? You're not like so and so roaster and they've been doing it for so many years, or they've won roaster of the year in 2010 and whatever. And are we at their level? Yeah, we were just like, you know what? Our mission and vision are straight. We're good. Our product is good. We may not be as big as them, but we have the heart and soul to get the job done. So, uh, but like I was saying previously, in 2018, we applied for 2019 Roaster of the Year, and we actually lost by 1 point. It was during the cupping portion of it. We made top three,
Okay,
uh,
good.
so
Congratulations.
application process happens. You fill out. You have your application process, which is very it's pretty in depth. Um, and we submitted it. It ties not only in is your coffee good, but it's your mission statement, what you're about, how do you tie in community, innovation, and your X factors. Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, there's so many good coffee roasters out there, but what else do you do, right? So, in 2018, we applied. We put our best foot forward, and we lost by 1 point. There was a defect in one cup, so just to get an idea how the process works, once you make it through the application process,
Mhm.
they filter out through all the applications, process of elimination. It comes down to the top three. The top three roasters chosen um, uh, are required to provide a single origin, a blend, and then a wild card. So that can be anything. That can be your
Right.
beautiful geishas, your Colombians, whatever it may be, right? Um, so we submitted obviously Philippine coffee, and I can't remember the blends, but and then the X Factor one. So or the wild card, and we lost by 1 point. There was a defect in one of the cups, so we lost by 1 point. It could have been and it was something that. Go ahead. Sorry, Bill.
Well, I was gonna say, now, I tell you, I appreciate the confidence that you and I think that's something that, people can learn from. Um, be bold, be courageous, you know,
Yeah,
have grit, show perseverance, and,
perseverance,
and I think
resilience.
I think that's having those aspects, uh, there's the reward. There's the hard work with all that, but then there's the reward at the end. Um,
Yes, sir.
a lot of people who aren't in business, that they're fearful or they don't have the grit, and I think that's what sets others apart. The boldness, the courage, um, the grit, the
Yeah,
perseverance.
my partner Sam always says, take the leap, have the audacity to do
Yeah,
it, right? And I think that's extremely powerful because that's what sets entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs apart, really. It's everyone has an idea, but when it comes down to executing, or if the times get tough, or if money's not in the bank, or you're down to your last, $1,000 to make payroll or whatever it may be, at the end of the day, you're still there. You figure it out, right? Not a lot of people want to take that leap, take that risk, have the audacity to do it. So I truly believe that us losing, we lost by 1 point. So we took that energy,
yeah,
right? Because that literally could have been one bean that affected the whole thing,
sure,
right?
absolutely, yeah, I
And
understood.
we took 1 point, one bean, took that energy, took what we learned. I firmly believe that if we didn't apply in 2018 and lost, we wouldn't have learned and had the information to be better the next year. So, um, And
I think
that's
that's a real an excellent point, really. Doing that leap, like I love the fact that term that Sam used, have the audacity. Um, just again ties into the boldness, the courage, the grit, the perseverance. And you're right. Um, if you hadn't done it that year, who knows whether or not it would have just become another forgotten thing for 2020. But
100%,
yeah,
100%.
then you win for 2020. You really had a killer party in January of 2020, and then COVID hits, and that was unfortunate for well the entire world for that matter. But since that time, you know, talk about how did you survive through that and to this point, and where are you going in the future?
Um, so we won Roast of the Year 2020 during COVID, so it was kind of weird. At least in the beginning of the year, we got to celebrate with our party, and then everything shut down in March, right? Going into COVID was extremely. It was obviously sad. It's a worldwide pandemic, right? People were losing their lives.
Yeah.
But from a business standpoint, it was tough, right? Not only for us, but our friends that own businesses, um, and having a hard time pivoting, right? But again, like we believe in the culture we've groomed and built over the last few years. We had amazing staff that was like, we got you, right? They're like on the front line. We're wearing
Right.
masks, you know, and being in potential contact and in harm's way at all times during that time. So um, that for us gave us the courage to keep it going, right? And um, so looking to our staff and our friends and our community for the courage and just the energy to kind of push through and pivot, right? We If you don't pivot, um, then if you didn't pivot or try to change the way your business can make money in a time like that, uh, then it's kind of like you sink, right? It's a slow death. Um, and we did. So luckily, thankfully, we were able to make it through that together, right? And thanks to our community and and everyone that supported us during those times, e-commerce took off because people were staying home and they were
Right.
making coffee at
Right.
home, right? We would do cupping sessions via Zoom, right?
Okay.
And we would we started a Mostra Experience membership where people would get front row seats to things that we do, and we would do it through Zoom, right? We would
Right. Right.
we would drink coffee over Zoom, or whatever it may be, trying to navigate those choppy waters at that time. So, and we did, and we're very grateful. So here we are.
Looking forward. What's next? Where are you headed?
Bill, there's a lot. It's a lot. So we currently have our Forest Ranch store, our Carmel Mountain Ranch store in North County. We have our Torrey Pine store, and then our Bankers Hill and Hillcrest location. Plus, we have our Petco cart, which is amazing. We are the coffee sponsors, official coffee sponsors, or proud sponsors of the San Diego Padres. So we are
Sweet.
actually at every game. We have 10 locations within the ballpark as well that pours our batch brew. We are the sponsors and proud coffee sponsors of SDFC, which is our men's professional soccer team, as well as the San Diego Wave women's professional soccer team, as well as the Rady Shell. So we are the Rady Shell is the most beautiful music venue you can ever watch live music at, and we are
Yeah.
the sponsors for them as well. So we are extremely busy now. With that being said, uh, we are doing a lot of great things behind the scenes and corporate cleanup and being uh, more organized and getting to a point where scalability isn't such a challenge, right? Because we always hear it. It's always trying to scale with intention and scale uh, with without losing that soul, right? And that's the hardest part. So it allows us to, I mean, we're moving at a million miles an hour, but at the same time, a lot of things behind the scenes are happening with strategic growth, right? We um,
Right.
have a lot of great things on the horizon, which we're very grateful and we're very thankful for. Uh, we're thankful for people like you, Bill, Brent, and Paris, and the whole team, man. Like without you guys, and I would call you and email you all the time with some whether there's stupid questions or whatever whatnot, because I did not know exactly what I was doing, or I was second guessing myself during those times. And uh, I just want to say thank you for the partnership. Thank you for allowing us to represent your brand at the highest level, or even at the earliest times, right? So really, really appreciate that.
Well, we are extremely blessed to be able to partner with you guys too. And I think about some of our earliest conversations, 10
Oh
plus
my,
years ago.
oh my.
And but yeah, but then would you have thought that you would be here where you're at now 10 years ago? And I mean, maybe on a distant horizon, or maybe nothing as
Hmm.
specific as what's going on right now, but that was a direction you wanted to go in. You were aiming high, right?
Yeah, we we knew what the goal is. We know what the goal is. The job's not done, right? We have a long way to go still, but we know that as long as we stick to our guns and stay the course, and truly believe our gut, um, uh, that good things will happen and continue to happen for all of us as a community. And um, but yeah, I mean, being not a roast like an amateur roaster to roasting early on, and then roasting alongside roasters throughout Mostra's history. And I no longer roast. We have people way more capable than me, and way more smarter than me, um, and so we can focus, and I can focus on other things happening from
Well,
from
I
30,000
almost
foot.
forgot to mention that one of your roasters won a U.S. Roaster Championship 2 years ago. Is that 2 or 3
This
years
was
ago?
3 years ago.
Three
Three
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, Nick
Yes.
Berardi there, and congratulations for
Thank
that.
you.
And that's right, because you ended up competing at the World Championships in Mulan,
In Milan, yeah.
in Milan,
Milan.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fun trip, I'm sure.
Oh man. Yeah, it was amazing. We got 11th, I believe, out of 22 countries when we represented the US. So
Uh,
we got first in Boston, and then we got to punch our ticket to head to Italy, where we got 11th, and met a lot of great roasters, a lot of great talent, and got to see Italy for the first time. And that was such an experience. And more so, it was being able to represent the Philippine farmer, represent our company and our community, our friends and family on a global level now, right? And while representing the U.S. So it was pretty amazing, and um, but yeah, like we have such a great team. Shout out to the whole production team. We got Ryan, we got John, we got Tim, who is our roaster. Right now, he's amazing. We got Andy out there. We got Verna out there. So they're the ones that really hold it down as well. Again, like in order to run and have a successful business, we truly believe you hire people that are just better than you, or will be better than you, right?
mm,
Eventually, with the same mindset and goal. So shout out to the production team. They are the heart and soul of what we do, because we are a coffee company. We are coffee roasters. So, and they are still roasting on our roaster, Felly. So you have to name
yeah.
your roasters. We have Felly and Franny. So Francesca and Felly. So those two are still in operation. Um, a lot of tender loving care. They break it down once or twice a month, completely overhauled, and it is running just like it ran when we first received it back in 2013. And that's a testament to you guys, the type of product you put out, and the love and support that you've given us over the last few years. So,
Well, really appreciate those kind words, and yeah, that's that's how we hope to build every single one for you guys. So, well, listen, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts, your story, and yeah, hopefully, and well, I have no doubt everybody who listens, watches this is gonna see you as an inspiration. So again, thank you for joining us. And any last words before we head out?
Um, be good to one another. You know, there's it's you know, every day I try to be 1% better. Yeah. So that's it.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah. Be the
All right.
reason why people see the goodness in humanity. How about that?
Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, thanks again, Mike, and for joining us. And wish you the best. And I'm sure we'll be talking. So you have a good day.
Cheers, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.